The night is silent. A cold wind moves through the trees, whispering your name like an echo from another realm. You stand there, alone. The laughter that once surrounded you has faded. The faces you once called family are now distant memories. The messages stopped. The invitations never came. One by one, they disappeared. You keep asking yourself, why? Why did the people you loved drift away? Why did those you poured your heart into suddenly turn cold, misunderstand you, or walk out without a word? Listen closely, dear soul. This is not abandonment. This is alignment. This is not rejection. This is redirection. The universe, or call it the divine, has heard conversations you never did. It has seen the shadows that your eyes could not. And so, it began to move pieces in silence, removing what your heart was too loyal to release. There comes a moment in every awakened life when solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. And right now, you are standing at that sacred crossroads. Once, there was a sculptor who found a rough block of marble. He began to chip away, piece by piece, until a radiant figure emerged. People asked him, "How did you create such beauty?" He smiled and said, "I did not create it. The figure was already there. I only removed what was not part of it." That is what the divine is doing in your life right now, removing what is not part of your destiny, chipping away old attachments, outdated connections, and misaligned souls so that your higher self can finally stand revealed. The loss you feel is not destruction, it is revelation. Take a breath with me, inhale and release. You are not broken. You are being reshaped. You are not alone. You are being chosen. The silence around you is sacred. It's the space where the next version of you is born. But hear me. If you ignore this separation, if you chase what was meant to be removed, you will delay your destiny. You will keep circling in the same pain, replaying old seasons that were meant to end. There's a reason your spirit feels restless when you try to reconnect with what's gone. It's because your soul already knows the old frequency cannot hold your new fire. If this message resonates in the deepest corner of your heart, type 111 in the comments, your confirmation of awakening. If you've felt divine disconnection lately, type 444, a symbol that angels and guides are realigning your path. And if you are ready to rise above loss and walk into your sacred assignment, type 777, the number of completion, ascension, and divine favor. Subscribe now, because this journey doesn't end here. It begins here. Stay. Listen. Because what's coming next will explain why you lost friends, and why the divine had to separate your circle before you stepped into your purpose. The camera fades from the forest into the glow of a single candle. The flame flickers, steady but vulnerable, just like you. And as it burns, a voice whispers from within, "Before I crown you, I must cleanse you." Now let us begin. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the world grows quiet, not because life has ended, but because something sacred has begun. You notice it first in small ways: the friend who suddenly withdraws, the group chat that grows silent, the circle that once celebrated you, now observing from afar. It feels like betrayal, but it's actually purification. The divine begins by removing the noise that drowns your calling. In your heart, you sense it, an invisible hand shifting your story. The conversations that once felt easy now feel heavy. The laughter feels forced. Their energy, once familiar, now feels foreign. You're not imagining it. Your spirit has evolved beyond the vibration that once surrounded you. This isn't arrogance, it's ascension. When your purpose expands, Not everyone can breathe at that altitude. There is a deep spiritual law. When light grows stronger, shadows react. You began to see truth in people who once hid behind masks. You began to feel drained in rooms that used to excite you. That's not punishment. That's awareness. You were awakening while others stayed asleep. And though your heart longs to hold on to them, your destiny cannot be delayed by emotional attachment. Think of it like a seed in the soil. When the roots go deeper, they move away from the surface light for a time. They grow unseen, in silence, beneath pressure. Your solitude is that same sacred soil. Every person who left you was a leaf that had completed its season. The tree doesn't mourn the leaf that falls. It trusts the cycle. But we humans resist. We cry, we chase, we question. What did I do wrong? You whisper to the empty air. Yet the truth is, you did something right. You grew, you evolved, you vibrated beyond limitation. The divine cannot bless a soul still clinging to what keeps it small. So it rearranges the scene, removing those whose roles are complete. Remember this, not every friend is meant to finish your story. Some were written only for a chapter, to teach, to awaken, to mirror your old self so you could finally release it. They weren't villains, they were lessons in disguise. And though their absence aches, your future will thank you for letting them go. Perhaps lately, you've found yourself sitting in silence more often. Music doesn't hit the same. Crowds feel distant. You sense a subtle shift within, a calling to something higher yet unnamed. That's your soul whispering, it's time. Time to walk through the doorway that only you can see. Time to release the versions of you that were built to survive in smaller rooms. This is why the divine separated you. Because your circle could not expand with you. Because your vision outgrew their comfort. Because you were being positioned for purpose, not popularity. You were meant to rise alone for a while, so that when your light returns, it will shine without dependence. But here's the test. When you start losing people, do you trust the process or do you fight it? Do you surrender to divine isolation or run back to familiar cages? The next chapter of your story depends on that answer. So ask yourself, when the world goes silent and familiar faces fade away, will you collapse into loneliness? Or will you recognize the sacred pattern of separation and step into your higher path? The answer to that question will determine whether this loss becomes your breaking or your becoming. Now, let's go deeper. Because in the next part, we uncover what happens after the separation, when the silence starts speaking back to you and your purpose begins to awaken in the darkness. At first, the silence feels unbearable. You wake up one morning and realize the phone doesn't ring like it used to. There are no messages waiting. No one asks where you've been or how you're doing. The world, once crowded with noise, now echoes with absence. It feels like loss, but beneath that stillness, something ancient begins to stir. In the quiet, the divine starts whispering. Not through thunder, not through voices, but through moments. Those gentle inner nudges that guide your steps without words. You begin to notice things differently. The sunlight hits your window in a way that feels deliberate. A stranger's smile feels like a message. Even the breeze carries meaning, like the unseen is trying to speak through the visible. This is where most people turn back. They can't handle the silence because they've mistaken it for abandonment. But silence is not rejection, it's initiation. When the divine chooses to teach you, it doesn't speak in crowds. It takes you to the wilderness, to the cave of your own soul, where no one's opinion can interfere. That's where you learn to hear the truth again. You begin to remember who you were before the noise, before the labels, the expectations, the friendships built on convenience. You begin to sense that your separation wasn't punishment at all, but mercy. Some people were never meant to walk the full path with you because their energy would have diluted the purity of your purpose. You had to be emptied before you could be filled again. Sometimes you sit at night, wondering why you still think of them. You replay memories, laughter, the moments when everything felt alive. It hurts because your heart still recognizes what once was, but your spirit already knows what must be. The two are at war inside you, the ache of attachment and the call of ascension. This is the sacred tension between the old self and the new. And then come the dreams, vivid, strange, symbolic. You see yourself climbing stairs that seem endless, or standing at a river that reflects your face but not your body. You feel presences, some familiar, some foreign. Don't dismiss these visions. They're not random, they're reminders. Every soul that awakens goes through this passage of spiritual dreams and hidden signs. They are the language of the unseen, preparing you for what's next. The more you listen, the more you begin to feel peace instead of panic. You realize that silence has rhythm. It breathes with you, moves with you, and reveals things words never could. You start noticing how much lighter you feel without certain energies around. You start laughing again, this time not to fit in, but because your spirit finally feels free. One night, while sitting in the stillness, you may hear that soft whisper rise within you. I never took from you. I made room for what's coming. And suddenly, everything makes sense. Every unanswered message, every forgotten plan, every person who left without goodbye. It was all divine choreography. The empty space wasn't punishment. It was preparation. There's a saying, whispered among mystics, when the beloved hides, he is closest. Though you may feel distant from everything, you're closer to truth than ever. The same silence that once frightened you now feels sacred, almost holy. You realize that in losing them, you found the one presence that never leaves, the unseen guidance that's been steering you since the beginning. Your dreams start to align with your intuition. The coincidences multiply. Numbers, symbols, songs, even random phrases begin to appear as if reality itself is speaking your name. These are not accidents. This is confirmation. You are in divine alignment. You are being shown that the separation was never about others. It was about your evolution. Soon, you will feel a shift, not outside, but within. You'll sense a strength that wasn't there before, a calm that cannot be shaken. The silence that once felt empty now feels full. And when you look back at those who left, you won't feel bitterness. You'll feel gratitude, because they helped build the silence that became your sanctuary. The story isn't over yet. The separation was just the doorway. Now comes the revelation, the part where everything hidden begins to unfold, and you finally understand why the loss had to come before the light. The next chapter unveils the hidden truth behind it all, the divine purpose buried inside every disconnection, every lonely night, and every unanswered prayer. There comes a moment when every soul begins to see the pattern behind the pain. The fog lifts, and suddenly you understand. It was never about them, the loss, the distance, the unanswered calls. It was about you. It was about your evolution, your calling, your becoming. What you thought was rejection was really divine selection. The hidden truth is simple, yet powerful. Not everyone can accompany you to your next chapter. Some were aligned with your wounds, not your wisdom. They were meant to meet you when you were still learning survival, not when you started walking in purpose. When your frequency shifts, dissonance follows. You stop resonating with gossip, with small dreams, with low vibrations disguised as friendship. That's when people begin to fall away, not because you changed for the worse, but because you began to align with truth. Think of a candle in a dark room. When it first lights, the darkness doesn't disappear, it trembles. Some shadows run, Others cling to the edges, trying to remain. You, my friend, have become that light. And when your soul started glowing, those who were comfortable in darkness began to drift away. The divine didn't separate them from you to hurt you. It did so to protect what's sacred within you. Every chosen soul carries a fire that must be guarded. That's why isolation comes before illumination. Before a prophet speaks, there is always silence. Before a tree bears fruit, it endures a season of shedding. Before dawn breaks, the world must face its darkest hour. You are in that sacred threshold, where endings and beginnings look the same, but one holds light, the other cannot see. You see, the divine didn't just remove people, it removed patterns. The need for validation, the fear of being misunderstood, the longing to belong where your spirit was never meant to fit. It stripped away your attachments so that your identity could finally rest on something eternal. You were never meant to be defined by your circle. You were meant to redefine the circle by your energy. And here's the most profound truth. Every person who left created space for someone divine to enter. But before that, you had to become the kind of soul who could recognize divine presence. Separation refines discernment. You start seeing who is for your destiny and who is for your distraction. You start feeling the difference between connection and convenience. You stop chasing those who drain you and begin attracting those who mirror your light. In dreams, you may have seen symbols, bridges, rivers, doors closing and opening, people walking away without faces. These are messages from the unseen reminding you. Transitions are not endings, they are initiations. Every time someone leaves, an invisible door opens. Every heartbreak is a coded instruction, an invitation to ascend. As your consciousness expands, you begin to feel compassion instead of anger. You realize those who left weren't villains. They were mirrors, showing you where you still needed healing. And now that healing has begun, the mirror is no longer necessary. They exit your story gently, or sometimes abruptly, but always with purpose. You start to see beauty in loss, the kind of beauty that only wisdom can recognize. You understand now that solitude isn't the absence of love, it's the presence of alignment. In silence, you met yourself. In isolation, you found your essence. You discovered that the divine never took from you. It only cleared what blocked your vision. Now your heart beats differently. There's a rhythm of peace beneath your ribs. You don't crave to be understood anymore. You crave to be aligned. You no longer run after approval. You walk in assurance. You realize that what left wasn't personal. It was necessary. And those who truly belong to your purpose will find you when your light calls their name. As you walk into this next phase, you'll begin to notice new energies entering your life. People who speak the language of your spirit, who water your purpose instead of draining it. They will not compete with you. They will complement you. They will not question your growth. They will protect it. And you'll know them not by appearance, but by peace. This is the hidden truth. Separation was never the ending. It was the divine unveiling, the removal of illusion so that love, truth, and purpose could finally find their rightful place in your life. But now, another challenge begins. Once you see the truth, how do you live it? Once you awaken, how do you stay awake in a world that tempts you to fall back asleep? The next chapter reveals how to carry this wisdom into your daily life, to turn revelation into power and isolation into strength. When the truth settles in your heart, something begins to shift. You no longer chase closure, you start seeking clarity. You stop asking, why did they leave? And begin asking, what was I meant to learn? That's the turning point, the moment when pain transforms into purpose. It is here that the divine begins to refine you, not by adding more to your life, but by taking away everything that keeps you from your essence. You start to notice that what once hurt now humbles you. The anger softens, the confusion clears. You look at the people who walked away and realize they were never enemies. They were instruments. The loss that once felt cruel was in truth a kind of mercy. You were being protected from what you couldn't see. Sometimes the divine saves you by breaking your heart open so light can enter through the cracks. Every trial you faced has shaped your sensitivity. Every tear was watering a seed you didn't know you planted. The silence trained you to listen beyond words. The loneliness taught you how to stand when no one clapped. You've become stronger, not by resisting pain, but by surrendering to it with grace. This is the refining fire, the sacred transformation that no one can see, but everyone will eventually feel when you walk into a room. Repetition becomes a rhythm in your spirit. I release what no longer serves me. I honor what is gone. I trust what is coming. Say it again. Let it echo. The more you repeat it, the more your energy realigns. That is how healing works, not as a single moment of revelation, but as a daily commitment to let go. You begin to live with awareness. You no longer hold grudges because you understand energy must flow. You stop forcing conversations because peace has become your language. You begin to discern who deserves your presence. Some people return, but this time you see through them. What once blinded you now reveals truth. You respond with calm, not reaction. You bless them silently and keep walking. This is where divine maturity begins. You stop asking for signs and start being one. Your energy becomes your message. You begin to realize that forgiveness is not approval, it's freedom. It's cutting the rope that tied your spirit to old pain. You don't wait for apologies anymore. You understand that peace is something you give yourself. And in this refined stillness, something sacred happens. You begin to attract differently. Where once you drew chaos, you now magnetize calm. Where once you sought validation, you now radiate assurance. The people who approach you now will feel your energy before your words, and they will either rise to meet it or quietly walk away. That is the power of the refined soul. It doesn't chase, it calls. Understand this, when the divine removes people, it's not because they're evil, it's because you're evolving. You are being upgraded, and not everyone can exist in that frequency. The same fire that burns away what's false will illuminate what's real. You will begin to see purpose even in pain, grace even in endings, and direction even in delay. The refining fire doesn't destroy, it distills. It removes everything that isn't love, everything that isn't true, everything that keeps you small. You emerge clearer, quieter, stronger, and though you've lost people, you've gained yourself, the purest version of you, free from pretending. In your quiet moments, you'll feel that warmth inside your chest, that peace that can't be explained. That is the divine saying, you made it through the fire without burning. The smoke has cleared, the storm has passed. You've become what you were always meant to be, whole. But this is not the end, because every awakening demands action. Every revelation carries responsibility. You now know why you lost them, but what will you do with that wisdom? The next chapter will show how to live in alignment with your higher path, and how to turn this separation into a sacred beginning that changes everything. You've walked through the silence, faced the separation, embraced the truth, and endured the refining fire. And now, as dawn breaks over your spirit, something extraordinary begins. You awaken, not just into a new day, but into a new way of being. The world hasn't changed, but you have. You see with different eyes now. You feel with a different heart. The weight that once kept you anchored in the past has lifted, and in its place there is clarity, peace, and quiet power. You no longer crave the noise of validation because you have met the voice of truth within. You no longer chase connections that drain you because you have become whole in your solitude. You walk differently now, not hurried, not searching, but with the calm assurance of someone who knows they are guided. You've become the living embodiment of divine alignment. The people who left no longer haunt you. You bless them sincerely. You understand now that they served their role in your transformation. Some were mirrors, some were messengers. All were necessary. Every goodbye carved space for grace. Every empty room became a temple where you met yourself again. What once broke you now builds you. The pain that once silenced you has become your song. And now, the circle that remains, the few who truly see you, will feel the difference in your presence. Your energy speaks before your lips move. You are no longer trying to convince anyone of your worth. You simply are. The light you carry now doesn't beg to be understood. It simply illuminates. Those meant for you will recognize it. Those not aligned will fade without conflict. That's the quiet beauty of awakening. It doesn't require an announcement. It reveals itself through peace. You will notice subtle shifts. Your dreams will align with your desires. Doors that once refused to open will now unlock effortlessly. Opportunities will meet you halfway. Synchronicities, numbers, timing, encounters will begin to weave your path like a tapestry of divine precision. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. The universe is showing you that you have finally stepped into the frequency of your calling. But awakening is not the end. It is the beginning of responsibility. You have been entrusted with awareness, and awareness demands action. You cannot return to old circles and old habits. Your spirit won't allow it. You must protect your peace like a sacred flame. You must guard your time, your energy, your truth, because now you are no longer just living, you are leading. By existing in your authenticity, you become a lighthouse for others lost in the same storm you survived. Let your silence speak louder than explanations. Let your growth preach louder than your words. You are not here to prove yourself. You are here to embody your divine design. You are here to remind others that losing people is not failure, it's filtration. That solitude is not emptiness, it's elevation. That endings are not punishments, they are portals to purpose. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Feel your pulse. That is life calling you forward. You have outgrown old versions of yourself. You have shed layers of fear, doubt, and dependence. You stand now as a vessel of light, clear, unburdened, ready. And when people ask, "Why did you lose so many along the way?" you'll smile gently and say, "I didn't lose them. I found myself." This is your rebirth. This is your rising. This is the moment the divine whispers, "Now that you have learned solitude, you are ready for sacred union, with purpose, with peace, with destiny." If these words reach the core of your being, type 111 below to affirm that you are walking into your new season. Type 444 if you trust that the unseen hand still guides your path. And if you are ready to rise, to step boldly into your divine alignment, type 777 for completion, ascension, and favor. Subscribe, stay connected, and continue this journey. Because what you've experienced is not the end of friendship, it's the beginning of alignment. You lost friends because the divine is preparing your circle for purpose. And soon, those meant to walk beside you will arrive, not as a crowd, but as a covenant. The fire has purified you. The silence has spoken. The separation has made space. And now you stand, awakened, chosen, and free. After every awakening, there comes a return, not to who you were, but to who you were always meant to be. You begin to step back into the world, not as a seeker, but as a carrier of light. The streets look the same. The sky is still the same shade of blue, but you see everything through new eyes. You no longer walk through life. You move through it with intention. You've crossed the unseen threshold between survival and purpose. The divine didn't separate you just to make you stronger. Strength was never the goal. Clarity was. You were meant to understand who you are without the noise, without the roles others gave you, without the constant pull of validation. And now that you know, you stand differently. You move differently. You no longer ask for direction, because you have become direction. You no longer chase signs, because you've learned that you are the sign. This is the phase where purpose begins to whisper through every part of your life. Conversations start to feel meaningful again, but only when they serve growth. Work begins to align with calling. Even your pain begins to serve as prophecy. Every detail feels guided. You realize that the divine has been orchestrating your story with perfect timing, like a composer guiding each note toward harmony. The people around you will notice. Some will say you've changed, and they'll be right. You've stopped settling for half-truths and half-love. You've stopped bending to make others comfortable. You are no longer the version of yourself that dimmed to keep others shining. You carry quiet confidence now, born not from pride, but from peace. And though your voice may be softer, your presence is louder than ever. Purpose has a rhythm, and once you find it, life begins to flow instead of fight. The same silence that once felt like exile now feels like guidance. The same solitude that once broke your heart now fuels your creativity. You'll notice that new doors don't need to be forced. They open naturally when your vibration matches their frequency. You'll begin to walk through life with grace, trusting that everything meant for you is already seeking you. Sometimes people from your past will reappear. They'll see your peace and wonder how you found it. You won't need to explain. Your energy will speak for you. Some will be drawn to your light with reverence, others with curiosity. But you'll discern easily now, not through suspicion, but through inner knowing. You've developed spiritual vision, the ability to feel truth before it speaks. That's what separation was for, to give you sight. Purpose will call you toward service. Not service in the sense of obligation, but devotion. You'll start to sense that your pain was never wasted. It was meant to be used. The lessons you've learned will become the words that heal others. You'll speak, create, or simply exist in a way that uplifts without trying. You will be a living reminder that transformation is possible, that divine timing is real, that losing everything can lead to finding eternity within yourself. And in your quiet moments, you'll feel that presence again, the same one that led you through the valley of isolation. It whispers, "You are ready. Ready to lead, ready to love, ready to live as the fullest expression of who you are." You will feel no rush, no pressure, only peace. Because now you understand, purpose is not a race. It is a rhythm, and once you move in sync with it, nothing can stop what was divinely designed for you. Your circle will reform, not as a crowd, but as a covenant, souls bound by alignment, not attachment. Each person will mirror your light in their own way, and together you will build something eternal, community rooted in truth. These new connections won't drain you, they'll recharge you. They will speak life into your dreams and help you hold your vision when the world tests your faith. When you finally stand in your purpose, you realize that the journey was never about loss. It was about remembrance. You didn't lose friends, you lost illusions. You didn't lose your circle, you lost limitation. Every ending was an invitation to rediscover what was divine inside you all along. Now you walk not just with faith, but with knowing. You understand that the same hand that removed also restored, the same silence that tested also trained, the same loneliness that wounded also awakened. You no longer question the path, because you've become one with the direction itself. So take this moment right now and breathe. Feel the sacred weight of your own becoming. You've returned, not to the world, but to your truth. You've returned as light in human form. If you can feel this, if something deep inside you knows that your purpose has arrived, type 111 in the comments to claim it. Type 444 to declare that divine alignment is your new home. And if you are ready to live boldly, love deeply, and rise fully in the light of who you are, type 777, for this is your completion, your ascension, your return. You are no longer waiting for your purpose, you are living it. There will come a day when you look back and realize everything made sense, the silence, the loss, the waiting. You'll smile softly, not out of pride, but out of peace. Because what once felt like breaking was actually building. What once felt like an ending was simply the divine clearing the path for beginnings that your eyes could not yet see. You'll meet new souls, not perfect ones, but aligned ones. People who don't compete with your light but protect it. They will understand your silences, respect your boundaries, and speak your language without translation. These are your soul allies, not companions of convenience, but companions of calling. And when they come, you will not need to question if they are meant for you. Their energy will feel like home. You'll walk into rooms and sense the energy shift, not because of ego, but because of presence. The same presence that was cultivated in your solitude, the same peace that was born in your pain. You will carry yourself differently, speak with gentleness but authority, and act with compassion but certainty. You'll no longer search for your tribe. Your tribe will recognize you by vibration. When you sit alone under the night sky, you'll remember this chapter of your life. The separation, the ache, the divine loneliness. And you'll whisper a thank you into the silence that once scared you. Because now you know that the divine never took anything from you. It only returned you to yourself. The circle will reform, but this time it will be different. Smaller, purer, radiant. No longer a crowd that drains, but a constellation that uplifts. Each soul in your new circle will reflect light, not shadows. Together, you will create, rise, and move with divine rhythm. This is not just friendship, it's destiny alignment. You'll find that you no longer chase love, you become love. You no longer seek acceptance, you radiate belonging. The emptiness that once hollowed your heart has become sacred space, ready to hold only what's true. Every scar now glows like a lantern, guiding those still wandering through their dark nights. Your story becomes their map. And as you walk forward, remember this truth. Every separation was a setup for expansion. Every closed door was divine redirection. Every ending was the divine saying, "You are ready for more." You were never being punished, you were being positioned. The time of mourning is over. The time of rising is here. You are no longer defined by who left, but by who you became when they did. The loneliness that once broke you has now crowned you with wisdom. You have stepped into your light, and from this point onward, nothing and no one can dim it again. So walk in peace, speak with grace, live with purpose. And whenever doubt creeps in, whisper to yourself, "It was all part of the plan." If you've walked this far with me, your spirit knows what this means. Type 111 for alignment, 444 for divine protection, and 777 to seal your awakening. You didn't lose friends, you found your destiny. You didn't lose your circle, the divine rebuilt it. And now, the circle is complete.